All right.
Watch the stream if you want to see it. Um, all right, yeah. So we're good to start.
Yes, we are.
All right, cool.
And change your screen as well on your
Yeah,
stream.
I'm gonna bring up my overlay a little early just so I don't forget.
There we go.
All right. So
I gotta lower my sound a lot.
yeah. All right. So up in the top right we have avanhokie. Bottom right, dim. PPC. Good matchup. Um,
Yeah, retro. I don't know. I personally hate this map, but I think it is interesting to see kind of where the Zerg is going to take their third. If it's going to be close third or is going to be kind of like a 4-base turtle style. But I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about this map, but I just don't like it, especially in
I
PvT
love it.
where
I love it. What don't you like about it?
I think the chokes in kind of going into the natural area and the kind of the area outside of it is a little too choked up. So pushing in is really easy. I think especially in like PvT where if they go for like a 7 fact all in or something, you're getting pushed back and it's kind of a lot of narrow areas where you have to fight the Terran.
I
But that's
like
also me as a Protoss talking. So
yeah. I mean, my main is Protoss. My ult is this season I'm playing Terran, but I like it for that for the wide openness of the middle of the map. Because I'm all about like macro and big contains. Sitting in arc, and then 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A eventually. Um, so I never push into those little corridors if I can help it.
okay.
yeah. So we got presumably. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, no, we do have Gateway Fast Expand. Sorry, I thought that was a gas. From avanhokie and Overpool from Mr. Dim. Um, hopefully avanhokie's not gonna die too early, but you never know with these gateway builds. So
Yeah, Overpool should be pretty easy to defend against this, I think. Interesting to see that Avanoki decided to scout counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Usually, I think that for most Protoss players, it's kind of meta, and it's also just depending on kind of your own scouting philosophy, but Zergs will usually always send their Overlord towards the closest natural, kind of to see if the pylon is there or not. And then, so as a Protoss player, I always want to counter that, and I'll go to basically where I think the Zergs should be sending their Overlord scout if they're close position to me.
trying.
Um,
And actually, that's one of the things I like about this map is that your probe automatically goes that direction. That's the shortest path is going to those third bases, so it'll see the overlord. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have to
will.
do it
I
on
will admit,
purpose.
yeah, that is one nice thing about it. Especially if you go Pylon Scout, you'll see the Overlord coming through, and if you don't see it, you can just move on to the next spawn location.
Yeah.
Again, that is meta. It can be sometimes you'll miss it, like if they sent their Overlord in the other direction, and then you're kind of screwed because you have such a late scout. But
So we got a lot of lings coming out.
yeah, quite a bit. Got 4 extra on the way behind this, with the initial 6 lings here. So the Zealots have played pretty passively here, and they're trying to block off the choke here to buy time for this forge.
I think we have a
Um,
gap at the top above this gateway, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do. So we'll see if Dim is gonna realize this and sneak past. Avanoki also did stop making Zealots there. He's only got 2 right now.
yeah. Zealot's getting caught outside the
This is
wall is
trouble.
rough.
Yeah, this is very dangerous here for Protoss. I think he skipped out on a Zealot to try to get this Nexus up, and I think if you don't put pressure on the Zerg with these Zealots to try to make sure that Lings can't come in at you like this, like it's gonna be very, very bad. And the gateway goes down, and the last Zealot's super, super low. I think this might be
Yeah.
game over here coming out soon.
And we have a GG. So that was an exciting first game.
There we go.
Got the shakes out over that, and I do have to change my scroll speed because my observing is no bueno. Clock time isn't enabled. That too.
As advice, if you are observing, you can always use the arrow keys. Arrow keys are the best way of observing instead of moving your mouse around.
Ah,
Yeah.
that is definitely useful.
Yeah, the
So I guess
mouse
it's,
mouse movement kind of distracts people, but if you do arrow keys, like they won't know basically.
Gotcha.
just a little too greedy there for Protoss. It looked like. I was a little
Yeah.
confused that the second zealot looked like it was trying to get in position to be on top of the gateway, but kept having trouble getting there. I think.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think maybe
I don't.
I'm not sure if it's a full wall in that position. I don't
I
think it is.
I don't think it is either, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I can never. I always think I'm fully walled, and then I'm not. So I'm no expert on that. But it. I mean, I guess it might be because wouldn't you just click the lings behind the wall to check, or at least like one?
Yeah,
Uh,
usually you would
yeah,
definitely do
usually.
that.
I mean, I don't know.
It just seemed like the zealot was having so much trouble getting there. It seemed like it was trying to, like it just kept getting confused and not going,
Doodle Doodle
as if you couldn't
and
go that way.
Refrigerator are saying that it is zealot type, but not ling type. So that's probably why the zealot was trying to get through because it
Oh,
thinks there's a gap there and it's trying to go through and then
okay.
yeah, it didn't get through. So all right, well
That's
that's game number
interesting.
one out of the way.
All right.
Very quick game, but I think a lot of things to learn from that in terms of the overall Protoss build order structure. There could definitely be get some improvement.
Yeah, for sure. And next up, we have Dim again versus Zumpy, so another Protoss. So hopefully this game goes a little longer than that, but we shall see. Everybody's ready?
Yes.
Go go.
It's a lot of PVZs today, guys. If you like PVZs, this is a good group to watch. Now, as a Protoss player, I hate this matchup, but
It can be rough.
it can be rough. Hydra busts are pretty annoying to deal with. Let's put it that way. Scene change, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And excuse me while I slow down my scroll speed a little bit to give us a little bit smoother experience. So yeah, again, we have very similar spawns, except they're along the bottom instead of the right side. The only thing that changes is obviously Dim isn't going to scout Zumpy first this time with his first Overlord, so could change things a little bit. Maybe he's not as aggressive with the Lings without as much information starting out. But we shall
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. So Zumpy, interestingly, I think at this position, the typical wall is the pylon's gonna be usually next to the dinosaur bones there at the bottom, and then Forge Gateway go on top of that. So it's interesting to see that the pylon here is going behind the wall, and then we're probably gonna see Forge Gateway going up. And there's gonna be, I guess, only a gap in the wall at the very top, although it will be a little bit wider. You could say. It's always interesting to see how Protoss wall, and everyone has a different style of walling.
So we have another gate expand, which is interesting because generally you don't send out the scouting probe until after the gateway. I don't know. And now he's sending it up into like kind of the top corner of his base. So that's weird, but doesn't necessarily signify anything, I guess.
If that was me, it would signify a gateway being built up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like another overpull here against a gateway first. This gateway built, I think it was on 10 pop. Normally, I think if you're a Protoss player, I think the standard these days is you want to build on a 9 gateway, because just getting that Zealot out as fast as possible to put pressure on the Zerg is the standard, at least in the highest levels of play. Obviously, CPL we can get away, with slightly, I guess, quote unquote unoptimized timings. But something for everyone to learn.
Yeah, so if you look here, actually, this game we only have 4 Lings start. Last game we had 6, so hopefully that means we're going to get into a bit of a longer game, but I guess you never really know. He's sending the Lings out across the map. They don't really have a reason to stay home, I assume, or he's just holding the entrance. I was going to say with the probe gone home, he probably doesn't have a reason, but...
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna block off the ramp with those Zerglings really nicely to stop that scout. He does have a drone already positioned up there at the 3 o'clock position for his third base. Didn't make the initial hatchery. Instead, kind of just has it there ready to make the third one whenever it is ready when he has the minerals, which will be soon.
Well, a lot of the lings are kind of out on the map doing stuff, and the first zealot is walking across. There's only 2 lings at home.
Yeah, he does see the Zealot coming across, so he does have time. Although there's another Zealot already at home. So he's got to start making some Zerglings here to push away the Zealot.
Oh, it looks like, yeah, Zell went back to, or no, he didn't. Oh my god, I'm so stupid, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's already got Zealot in the main, killed off one drone already. Very nicely done. And drone drilling really nicely, so the Zealot will be taken out, although he did stop a lot of mining. There was a Zergling back in the main base of Zumpy wailing away on the Nexus. You can see took quite a bit of shield damage, but unfortunately the Zergling got killed by another Zealot, so...
Yeah, so all in all, you lose a drone. It's not the best thing in the world, but, you know, you live to fight another day, and, you know, he has basically perfect information at this point, which honestly isn't much, but it's something.
Yeah, we got the wall off here for Protoss. The Zealots and the Probes are blocking off. So these Zerglings here, which he has made quite a few now. He's made, it looks like 7 Zerglings total. Will not be able to get in. And if they try to, at least, you know, most of them will die before he can get any into the main base of Protoss' scout. But meanwhile, the 3 bases for Zerg are up, and he will start the Hydralisk Den there. So maybe signaling a 3-hatch Hydra build here. He has stopped mining gas, though, which is interesting. I think it's probably because he's already banked up 166, so he feels like he can just start the upgrade first and then go back to mining gas once the upgrade starts.
Yeah, just putting back on the gas now.
Yeah, and this could actually be pretty bad for Zumpy because he just finished his Cybernetics score. We'll see if he starts the Stargate here in a second, but looks like he will.
Yep, there it is.
But I don't think that Corsair is going to get across to scout this, so you know, unless he sends the Zealots out, this could be dangerous.
You know, it's tough to send zealots out in this scenario because you really need a different wall to be able to plug this. You know, I mean, it takes 4 zealots to plug this wall. So if you move out, like, you are really susceptible to a counterattack.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, he hasn't scouted yet. It was a slightly late Stargate here, so he's not going to get that Corsair for the information out. He could try to sneak out, you know, a probe, maybe push forward the Zealots to get the probe out of the base here. But he's not going to have any information that these Hydras are coming. First couple Hydras now are popping out, and we don't have them rallied yet from Dim to the front. But we'll see if he's able to start moving forward, because
Well,
there are no cannons. This is very greedy from Zumpy.
Yeah, it's I mean, you either need the scouting information, or I'd say you need at least 2 more cannons, maybe even more, depending on how much you commit to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like it is a pretty hard commit here. We see a lot of Hydras being made out of that main hatchery. And running across the map, I think we've got about 7 Hydras total. He's actually got, there you go, he's found the one inside of his main base. So this is a hard commit here from Dim.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if he can end the game very quickly here.
Yeah, no, it's at least 8, and 4 more on the way. So...
Yeah, no new cannons going down. We do have leg speed on the way, which could somewhat help defend us, but it's still like a minute and a half away, so it's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, very long time away, and he's finally making some extra cannons now. But if Dim can see it coming down, I think that, okay, here comes the Overlord. He's going to be able to see what's going on here at the front. He does see the cannons are coming down, so I think if he moves in right now, he could snipe that one cannon and just go wail on the other ones that are building. But he's waiting. Oh, here we go.
Runs in here. Neither of these cannons are done. I think that's...
Yeah,
he's not target firing, so there is an opportunity here. The Zealots are buying quite a bit of time, but I think that there's too many Hydras here.
A lot of Hydras, yeah. I mean, a full group plus 2 more.
Yeah, I think that's all she wrote for this one. Zerg with a standard 3-hatch Hydra build here, and just not enough cannons being made here from Zumpy to ward it off. You know, just a little bit late on his tech structures, and maybe could have snuck a probe out to kind of try to see how many Hydras were being built. But otherwise, you know, it is just, at the end of the day, it's just a standard 3-hatch Hydra here that unfortunately our Protoss player could not defend.
Yeah. That's
It was probably doomed for failure, but I think the one thing, despite everything else that went wrong, that Zumpy maybe could have done is try to actually build more buildings in between, as part of the wall. So you throw another forge down. If the gateway goes down, you try to get another gateway down as fast as possible, just to buy time for those cannons to come up.
Yeah, there was a few cannons that were almost close to being done, but unfortunately, just not having the information. You don't, as a Paras player, the matchup is so tight for you that you just don't know when to make the cannons to at the exact right time. It's almost like Terran versus Zerg when you get those turrets up at the exact right moment, because you don't want to build them super early and then have mutas not come for another 15, 30 seconds. You want them done at the exact right time.
yeah. I mean, Dim seems to be one of those Zergs that makes you question your sanity sometimes as a Protoss on ladder, and that's no shot at him. I mean, that's completely fair play. It's just you know can you can kind of Protoss is a very fragile early game. It feels like, at least from my experience. So
Yeah, definitely very fragile, but yeah, if you get into the mid game though in PvZ, you can definitely put a lot of pressure there on the Zerg. It's definitely where you have the biggest power spike for Protoss. So it's just about surviving the early game, getting into mid game, and putting a lot of pressure on Zerg and see if you can get there. But as we've seen so far, both Protosses have not been able to get to mid game, so we haven't seen that just yet.
yeah, well, we have Manadog versus avanhokie coming up. And we'll just go right into it, I guess. Red versus blue, yeah. And yeah. All right, we're ready to go.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, start. Switch over the screen. And I don't know if one of you guys wants to start this, because I'm gonna fiddle with my settings for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. So up here at the top left-hand position, we're gonna have the Protoss player avanhokie,
Okay,
which
they're
means
both
down
red
at
now.
the bottom. Oh, it looks like they did the classic 1v1 probably, but it's purple versus teal, so this one's okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, bottom left here, we've got the teal Zerg, based macro Zerg.
Yeah. So I feel like we've already said everything that has to be said about adjacent spawns on retro in PvZ. And I'm kind of struggling to find things to talk about at this point.
Yeah, it's just mostly just kind of watching what Protoss does here, and also kind of paying attention as well to the you can always look at the pylon placement as well, kind of see where things are gonna go. I always say this as a Protoss player, it's always weird when you have a new map come out. You have to always kind of think about exactly what you're going to do for your wall. Which is why when I first came back to Starcraft, the first thing I did was find the PvZ wall and guide and kind of memorize all of the
Yeah.
things for retro at the very least.
So, we have a gateway opening for Protoss, and actually an overpool again. Sorry, but I guess we'll see how this one pans out. The other ones did not go super well for our Protoss heroes, but we'll see how what's his name, Manadog, plays this one out.
Yeah, so far both players scouting in the wrong directions, which is for these spawn locations. Just like last game, I think that they were. Well, actually, no. Last game, the Paras did scout Zerg first, actually, but in this case, both players are scouting in the the theoretical meta direction, so they will scout each other last. Although we do have the drone scout coming out here for Manadog. Is going to see the gateway first. The Zealot's on the way.
How do you do that thing where you follow the unit?
You right click.
Right click, yeah, right click. I'm actually doing it right now. I was following the drone when you asked that one. Yeah, so drone's got information on the Protoss here. It's first Zealot out for avanhokie, and it's not he's not sending it out, just kind of like last game as well, where he did not use it for pressure. And so we're gonna have Zerg here with 6 Zerglings coming out from his base, and we'll see if he's gonna go across the map and pressure right now. avanhokie, he's not spending his money right now, not getting a Forge or a Nexus. Here comes the... Okay, he's going to get the Nexus here. But usually you do want to try to send out initials out at least to draw the lings away from you to buy time to kind of set up your Forge and your Nexus and everything back at home.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's holding the ramp here. He's getting his Forge up. Manadog doesn't seem to really want to push out with his lings, so all in all should be a much quieter early game than we saw in the last 2 games, but
I feel like that's a mistake from Manadog as well, right? Because the Lings are faster than Zerglings or than Zealots, so you can always just run away if you need to. But he does need to be keeping an eye on those Zealots, so he knows if there's any out on the map, if they're all just back at home.
yeah, exactly. And we do actually have kind of a curious probe scout coming out. I mean, I guess you can see gas timings at this point, but not much more. But nonetheless, Avanhokie's going to run in here as these Zerglings kind of take up their post outside of the Protoss Natural.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good probe scout. You always want, all the information you can get. And we're seeing that this is going to be a 4 hash before gas build here, which is, I think, very, very solid build here for our level. I know that most pros don't ever kind of do this kind of style, but it is a very interesting style. I'm not the most experienced in terms of what Zerg is supposed to do, but I guess it's, getting that extra macro hatch there instead of getting like 3 hatcheries is always good for in case you want to do maybe like a link flood or something later on.
Yeah. And the Lings are stepping up, knocking at the gateway, seeing what they can get done. This cannon's about to finish, so it shouldn't be too hard for Avanhokie to get it up. Stabilized Grave might lose a Zealot here, but yeah, it doesn't even lose the Zealot and kills about 5 Lings, so I don't know. Maybe a bit of a mistake for Manadog, but shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, the second cannon is, maybe arguably a little bit of an overcommit here on the defensive end for Avanhokie. You really only need 1 cannon in the early game as long as you have Zealots there to wall off for Zerglings. But overall, he's playing very safe. We are going to transition hopefully into the mid game because this is a 3 hatch, or 4 hatch, sorry, before gas. So we're not going to see any kind of big Hydra bust, at least not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do see the Hydralisk Den coming down, but the Stargate this time is coming up in time to at least scout the first Hydras hatching, and also take count of the probes on the minerals to see if if Avanhokie actually has to be scared of this.
Do have the +1 started as well here on the Forge. No Corsair just yet. Looks like he's focused more on his minerals, on making probes, getting his second gas right now. And the Stargate still not blinking just yet. Manadog did make quite a few extra Zerglings here, as you can see. He's got a full 12 control group now. And back at home, he is walling very hard here with the Hydra Den and the Evolution Chamber with the Sunken right behind it. So he is a little bit worried about the Zealot pressure, which is coming out here from Avanhokie. So good read on the situation by Manadog.
Yeah, I don't know if you really need the Sunkens with only 6 Zealots coming out, no +1, no speed. And you already have the 2 Hydras back here, but, I mean, I guess maybe better safe than sorry. It's just... And you needed the Evolution Chamber anyway.
It's definitely always good to survive, but I do think it hurts the economy this early in the game. And when there is a Stargate that it's going to be pumping Corsairs, you know that it is, a big early Zealot. So I think usually try to defend it with units, but if it helps you survive, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zealots managed to take out the Sunken already, so, Zealots are quite strong in the early game here. Now they've kind of tucked themselves into this little area, which will be very, very annoying here for Zerg to deal with. It's going to have to use a lot of Zerglings to get rid of these Zealots.
Yeah, and they're actually mostly pretty healthy at the beginning of this, which is nice, considering they took out the Sunken. And, made the Zerg evacuate from the space, so... You're the first Corsair coming out.
Yep, getting a lot of good information here, at least on the natural and the main. And we got a double layer coming out here from Manadog. I think this might be a little bit of a mistake. Probably just accidentally hit L on both of his hatcheries.
Yeah, I never heard of a double layer build myself, but
the drop speed lurker build, maybe. Probably not.
It is possible. He does have that second gas very, very early. Or, I mean, it seems a little early to me in terms of how much gas he's... Or I guess it just came up, so maybe not.
Yeah, he really wants these overlords. Taking a lot of hull damage. Actually, well, not that much. I guess he juggled it pretty nicely. And there we go. So, I mean, things are settling into a pretty normal Zerg versus Protoss mid-game, except obviously we don't see a Spire right now, but kind of going for that macro Hydra Man build. That's, I guess, kind of standard now, honestly, but...
Yeah, Manadog definitely has quite a few drones here at the natural. I think he is going to mainer a few of them. Looks like they're going back into the main. Although he doesn't really need them at the main. Oh, I guess he's building quite a few buildings, so that makes sense.
He actually only had 8 on minerals in the main as well.
So is he
Yeah, now he's up to
2
11.
extra.
rushing lair here with the Queen's Nest, or... I mean, Hive?
Yeah, it's interesting. He is getting Queen's Nest, so he's rushing the Hive. And I guess the second layer was to get the Overlord speed, while the second layer, I guess, is going to transition into a Hive very quickly. Kind of interesting stuff coming out from our Zerg player.
Is he just going to drop a bunch of Adrenalings into the main? Like, I'm very confused here. I've never really seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself, honestly. But he has droned up very well. All three of his bases are well droned. I think that he is a little over droned at his natural, which I think he could send a couple over to the third base. But that's neither here nor there. We have a small Zealot contingency from avanhokie coming out here towards the third base.
Yeah. And this is one of those spots that's... I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is one of those spots that's very tricky, I feel like, as Protoss, because you really, at this point, want to start thinking about taking your third base, but you've already seen the Hydra Den, you've seen the Lair, you don't see a fourth from the Zerg, and if you don't see that Queen's Nest and the Hive morphing, you kind of start to wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I think you should rely on your storms. Just having semi-decent storms in the mid game when you kind of want to push out for your third base is sort of the way that I like to try to push back Zerg here. But obviously he is starting to wait quite a bit here. He's killing his own cannon, it looks like. I'm not sure that it was blocking anything. But I guess maybe he's doing it just in case he's blocking his Dragoons here. His Dragoon range did finish. He's got his observatory out with the first observer on the way. So he's transitioning and setting up for a very strong mid-game here. He has gone for 7 gateways as well. He's got 6 in the main and 1 at the natural there. So this could be maybe like a +2 timing here. He's got the Dragoons coming out, the observer. Everything's lining up pretty well for him.
Yeah, I mean, supplies looking good. At least kind of even given the matchup. And then, obviously the composition kind of just can't be beat once you hit that +2.
Yeah, +2 is just about to kick in.
Storm, but I am a little worried about how few goons it is.
Yeah, he does have another rally of goons coming out right now. 3 more goons are on the way, probably, attack move down with the rest of his army and a second observer. So this will be really nice for him. Meanwhile, Zerg is setting up for this 9 o'clock position expansion with 3 lurkers up here and going to try to take a 4th base. But here comes the big attack right here down at the natural of Zerg. Here we go. Good storms there on 2 of the lurkers. A missed storm there, but some Hydras walked into it, so not bad. And some decent storms here from Protoss, and he's just going to fall back and wait for some more reinforcements here. There are quite a few Hydras and a few lurkers here that it is a little scary here for Protoss to try to push in unless he gets absolutely perfect storms.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a really good trade from avanhokie. Just getting in there, picking off what he could, backing up before he lost too many of his zealots. And, we're just kind of gonna go from there now, but definitely the Zerg army a little bit battered, and he goes back in.
Yeah, he is starting to kill off the lurkers here, so only Hydra versus a lot of storms here, which he is storming very well, is going to be quite good for him, but he's got to start pulling back here. I think that he's starting to run low on Dragoons, but the storms are very, very good for him. Storm, good spell.
Yeah, Storm is definitely a good unit. I mean, that fight was good, to put it succinctly.
Oh, good snipes
well.
here from Manadog here. Nice! 2 snipes on the High Templar. This is exactly what you want to be doing as a Zerg player. If any Zergs are watching and want some tips on their ZVP, sniping those High Templar is everything, is the backbone of a Puros army. Without Storm, Zerg cannot, or Puros cannot fight Zerg on even levels there. But he has cleaned out all of the Zerg units here at this kind of choke just outside of the natural.
Yeah, and he's nearly doubling in supply at this point. I don't think that there's a very good chance for him to take out really anything. I mean, maybe he could push up towards that 4th and deny it. But I don't even know if he knows that that's there at this point. I haven't seen anything go that direction in quite a while.
Yeah, I don't think so. Something that Puroses can do is send out just 1 speed lot to kind of each of the corners of the map and then patrol move them around for like the 3 bases that you think Zerg will take, and that kind of will give you information there. But so far has not seen it yet. He does need to start remaking the Templar that he did get sniped out. He's got quite a few units queued up in his gateways. I think he could drop a few more gateways here to help with his macro, but he's taking a 3rd base, which is nice. Oh, and just as I say that, he does have a Zealot over here at the top right scouting for bases.
And an observer at the bottom right, but he didn't even think about the 9 o'clock being taken.
Yeah, definitely not a standard position for Zerg to be taking their 4th base. But, you know, if you get away with it, it's good.
Well, on Retro, given the position, your 3rd base or your 4th base, depending on how you look at it, is actually the closest base to your opponent, which makes it kind of a weird map in that regard.
Yeah, a little bit. Here we go, pushing in again. No storms here, and there are a lot of lurkers. 1 Templar is finally joining the fight.
Yeah,
oh, the observers ran through in front. Managed to pick off all the observers, but the lurkers did end up going down. So he could continue to go through, but I think he's just worried that without an observer here, that there are lurkers behind and he doesn't want to run into them.
Yeah, I mean, this goon count is getting ridiculous. I mean, you obviously see almost doubling in supply at this point, so very hard for Zerg to take a fight. They kind of have to turtle up at this point and just see if they can get more of those high-value units into the right spots and take some good fights to gain back map control at this point.
He does have a consume upgrade on the way here for Defiler Mound. I'm not sure if the links have crack yet. He is starting to make some more, and he's starting melee upgrades as well for these links. So he is transitioning into that lurker link composition that is so strong with Swarm. And they are starting to get into that kind of that mid to late game transition where Zerg begins to be able to kind of come back out on the map. Puros is starting to lose that timing where they're the strongest, and Zerg is going to start dominating again once he gets Storm out.
Right. And Protoss trying to take this top right base, probably going to get denied by these lings.
They do have crack, by the way.
So, I mean, nice try there, but
great denial, given the fact that Manadog is on a 4th at this point. Well, not actually mining the 4th, but
yeah, not quite. I do love, by the way, I always like to point this out. I love it when Protoss make this robotics facility here at the 3rd base. Sometimes you kind of wait until you get a 4th base to start making the extra robotics facilities, but he does have that support bay coming up, so he's going to transition maybe into Shuttle Reaver soon. And I think he kind of has a feeling that we're going to start seeing Swarm soon, and Reavers definitely are the answer to late game ZVP.
yeah, so a couple Zealots running here at the 4th, 9 o'clock position, while the Zerg army kind of just runs past the Protoss army in the middle of the map.
Yeah, these lurkers aren't defended though, so he could just kind of come in here and just kill all 5 of these lurkers. He doesn't decide to though. Probably a little bit worried about, you know, lurkers are quite good against, you know, in mass numbers like this. Oh, big storm! Huge storm in the middle of the map. He does need to kind of back up his army. He's taking quite a few free pot shots here from the lurkers, but the observer is over the lurkers. I think he's going to try to re-engage this army, but now reinforcements are coming out. Here are the Defilers. No energy yet. They need to consume a Hydra or something. across Protoss good unit. Wipes out the entire army here in the middle of the map from Zerg. You know, Zerg, you can't really go into the middle of the map and try to take an engagement where you're not really in a choke point. The middle of the map is probably the worst area for Zerg, unless you're like up to 150, 170 supply and you can make a big surround here.
Yeah, for sure. And now the Defilers are even getting harassed by these Zealots. They back off, but... Oh, no, they don't.
Yeah, does need to be careful about not losing these Defilers to these random Zealots here. But Pura so far has got a really nice concave here up at the top of the center of the map. One Defiler does go down to the Zealot, by the way. He's got to be worried about these Defilers. You know, he's only on 3 gas, so he can't be just throwing these away willy-nilly. There you go.
Yeah.
It's just bait. avanhokie really needs to spend some money here.
Yeah, floating up to 3,500 minerals, and he is running out of money soon. He's got no money left in his natural, only mining off of 1 base. So both players do need to start thinking about taking more expansions. We do have Manadog here at the bottom right looking to take more expansions, but so far they're trying to just contest each other in the middle of the map. I don't really think that this is the smartest choice here from Manadog. I think trying to maybe go back and hold the chokes until he can re-macro up a big army and hold on to this 4th and 5th base that he's trying to set up here is the most important thing for him. But he's trying to contest. He's still going for it. He does have Defilers now, and we'll see how well he manages to use these.
Yeah, and he is taking that natural in the bottom right, but a bunch of Zealots file in. Looks like they're going to deny that for now.
Oh, yep, doesn't get a cancel either, so nice snipe there from our Protoss player, really keeping the Zerg here down to 3 bases, and the Zerg really needs to think about taking that 4th base, especially when you're going to Hive and you're getting all these upgrades and Defilers. It's a lot of gas, so you do have to really be cognizant of kind of your base situation and how much gas you're spending. You need to get that 4th gas up.
Yeah, it's really funny to me to see these two lurkers that have been there since basically about like 8 minutes into the game on the 9 o'clock position. Protoss just walked right past him. avanhokie just walked right past him. Denied that 4th base.
Here comes the Defiler. He's trying to look for a plague, I think, onto the Protoss army, but avanhokie doing a really good job of spreading his units. But here will be the first plague. Yes, good plague there. The Defiler does go down though, unfortunately, but did its job. Got a good plague.
Well, you notice how avanhokie is actually kind of pushed their army back to these chokes again, forcing Manadog to take trades that are just not going to be favorable. And that's sort of what I think you were saying that Manadog needs to be doing. Take some bases and defend the chokes.
Yeah, but I think that avanhokie is maybe a little worried about the Defiler tech, which I think every Protoss should be worried about Defiler tech. It's one of the, it's so just incredibly strong, and Defilers are a very strong unit in and of itself. Good swarms here coming down, and he's going to try to run these cracklings in to this Protoss area. There's not many Zealots and there's not much splash damage here, so these Lings are going to be super effective, melting these Dragoons, just puddles of blue goo coming out.
Yeah, and there's only the one High Templar there I can see up here.
Yeah, does have a couple Zealots out here, but there's so many Zerglings that I just don't think that Protoss can hold on to this base. Poor Dragoons, man, just sitting there like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And the Cracklings just coming in and just absolutely demolishing them.
And you can even see that he wanted to get that robotics facility up. He knew this was coming, but, Manadog just smartly did not give him enough time.
Yeah, really excellent job done there, and behind this, Manadog has managed to take that 4th base. The hatchery is up, and he's starting to make some drones there. So avanhokie is starting to run out of minerals. Like, his 3rd base is more than halfway mined out right now. Like, he's really desperate here to take a 4th base. I mean, at some point, maybe even think about taking the 9 o'clock for himself if he can clear out those 2 lurkers and try to set something up. But Zerg, once they get in a high tech position like this and they've got map control, it's so hard for Protoss to kind of push back out on the map and do anything.
Yeah, and this position right between the top right natural and the I guess that'd be the 12 o'clock base, is just so strong right now. It really hems Protoss in. And really, if they're going to do anything, they're going to take that 9 o'clock base. But
trying to come up this ramp. These storms are just absolutely shredding through the Zerg army right here, and yeah, definitely can't do that as a Zerg player when you're trying to go up a ramp like that. I think that, you know, Zerg in this position, I don't think you really need to attack. You don't need to kill them unless you want to go for kind of like a big crackling drop into the main base. Just kind of sit back, make sure that Protoss can't really push out to grab a 4th base, and you're gonna bleed them dry. I mean, you've got the entire map to yourself right now. He's starting his 5th base down there at the bottom right-hand main. He's got so many cracklings if you pan over back to the natural. I mean, he's just got infinite amounts of crackling here, and now they're gonna clear out the Protoss army at that 9 o'clock as well.
Yeah. People say 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A about Protoss, but you might need about 8 control groups for this many cracklings, but you could definitely do that right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, at
no.
that point, you just don't even use any control groups. But oh,
2
we had DTs coming out.
walking across the map to the new
Yeah.
4th base for Zerg. This is trouble. There's no Overlord. There's no Spore.
Oh boy, the one way for Protoss to come back in the game, and you know, Zerg does not have very good Overlord spread right now. I mean, he doesn't even have an Overlord at his 3rd base, so this he ran a DT into that 3rd base as well. Oh, which it looks like he's trying to do, chasing a drone. But you know, he could definitely try to snipe a hatchery here or something with these DTs. Overlords are finally making their way over, so the DTs will get cleaned up eventually. But you know, got a couple drone kills.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the drone count right now is only 29 for Manadog, and that's not very good at this point in the game.
You know what? The Protoss army, though, is actually very, very strong, especially if we can get 1 or 2 shuttles. I mean, we are Archons, Reavers, Templar. If there is a strong push, I don't think there's much that could contest it.
Yeah, he is running out of minerals though. His 3rd base will be mined out in probably a minute. So he's got to utilize with whatever money he's got left here to either make a big push and try to maybe double expand behind it to utilize those 54 probes and try to see if he can just get anything done here. Otherwise, you know, he's basically all in. I think this will be his last push if he can make a couple shuttles here to help move the Reavers with his army.
Yeah, I mean, looks like he's trying to push out to secure this 4th base in the 9 o'clock position right now, which is probably your best bet at this point, given that strong position they have in the top right with Defilers, the Zerg. I mean, by
yeah, but here we go. I don't like this from Zerg. You know, they're gonna try to just move up here with this army, but Reavers and Storm trying to go up a ramp at Zerg is very, very challenging. Oh man, Archon, Reaver, Storm is just every Zerg's worst nightmare in terms of trying to go up a ramp or trying to contest a tight area.
Yeah, and now the problem kind of becomes getting a probe over there. If you look at, you know, he's got the small blocking force here with the Defiler, which kind of complicates things a lot. Although, again, Storm is a good unit, so.
Yeah, absolutely. One Archon does manage to slip out here, and it looks like, oh, wow, Archon strong unit just doesn't even kind of goes out, snipes the Defiler, and says, "All right, see you later. I'm gonna head back out to safety." But yeah, avanhokie does need to try to maybe sneak a probe out, maybe bring it through a shuttle or something. He's trying to come back up here into 9 o'clock again. This is really difficult.
It looks like there's no no Scarabs on either of these Reavers, which this could be really bad.
He's building them now, but the Reavers are getting sniped out here. Let's clean up the Reavers. He's got 5 back at his 3rd base, and a 6th one about to pop out. So he's got some shuttles queued up, but he's definitely got to move these Reavers over, and he is completely mined out his 3rd base. He's got no money to speak of whatsoever, unless he long distance mines.
We don't have to look for another Nexus. We'll have to long distance mine. It's looking like Manadog might take it, even though they're down 30 to supply, 40 supply.
Yeah, it's just a slow grind right now in terms of just trying to eke out every little last thing that that Puros can make. You know, if you just kill every unit that you kill right now, Puros can't remake it. Zerg, you can remake stuff, but you know, unless we see the long distance mine, but I don't see it happening. I mean, he's got 2 shuttles queued up right now as robotics facility if he wants to cancel both of those and get 400 minerals back for a Nexus. Little paltry force here from Puros coming out. Zerg was making like 12 lurkers there besides to cancel all of them, and just blocks the ramp off with these eggs instead, trying to make sure Puros can't get up here.
Yeah, I mean, this is really kind of heartbreaking stuff from that. I mean, you were in the driver's seat all game.
Well, you know, we've got all these beavers too, and we can't make scarabs.
Yeah. That is the
Yeah.
one thing, you know, as Puros gets lower and lower on money, those scarabs get more and more expensive. You know, when you're fully mining and stuff, scarabs are nothing to you. You just make them however many you want. But once you have no money left, scarabs are expensive. You can't really make any.
All right, guys. With that game, I'm actually gonna head out. So good luck
All
with the
right.
rest of the cast.
Thanks for
Enjoy.
joining, Lana. It's great
Yeah,
having you.
thanks for having me. GG.
Yeah, no, it was great having you
GGs.
on the stream. Thanks for coming.
All right. I thought overall, you know, in that game, avanhokie played a very, very good game. I think there's a lot of good stuff to build on there, you know, especially if he gets a lot of advice and coaching from one of our Protoss coaches. I think he can really develop that PVZ. I thought he did a really, really good job, had really good knowledge in terms of the overall flow of the game. You know, his army composition was really strong. His making his reavers at a really good time was something that I think a lot of Protosses don't do, which I thought was excellent. You know, I think that there's just a lot of small things that he could work on, and his PVZ looks to be pretty good. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's just one of those heartbreaking losses where I look back at the replay, and I've done this, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Even though, I mean, obviously, I'm not even as good as avanhokie, but you just look at the replay and you realize you were in the driver's seat all game, and you just kind of couldn't expand. I mean, or maybe you could have, but you just didn't know you could. Kind of a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's, you know, when you're at a lower level, I think there's a lot of there's a lot going through your head at one time, and it's really difficult to kind of compartmentalize all those different thoughts, and you kind of get split here or there. I think that if he had just tried to maybe defend his 4th base a little bit better in terms of getting more storm with his army, I think that was one thing that he did well in the mid game. You know, when he was pushing through the Zerg towards the natural area, he had a lot of storms. But then kind of towards the later part of the game, he kind of started running out of storms and not having enough High Templar, especially when Swarm and Hive Tech kind of came out. Um, so I think, you know, just small adjustments here or there, I think is really what's separating him from being able to have won that game. So I think that there's a lot, like, again, there's a lot of really good things to take away from that game if you're avanhokie, and I think that you should be happy with how that game went. And I think that there's just a lot of small things you just work on, and with a few scrims, I think he'll make an excellent PVZ player.
For sure, for sure. So, with that, we're gonna get into our sole ZVZ of the night. Manadog versus Zim. Should be a good one.
Yeah, let's
We
get into it.
will
I'm
see if this
excited to
is-
see Lings.
Yeah, we'll see if this is 4 minutes or maybe we'll see a unicorn tonight.
Yeah, we shall see. All right, let's see if nope, they did 1v1. So unfortunately, shift tab will not work. Yellow versus white on the minimap here.
Yeah, that's not so
Screen change, by the way, for the stream.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I gotta
Jeez.
open on a second monitor so I can tell
No.
you whatever
No, thank you,
whatever
thank you,
doesn't
thank you.
happen. But anyways, looks like so right off the bat we do have an initial advantage here for Dim. He is scouting in the right direction, whereas I okay, his name is Manadog, but he decides to go with a different in-game name. It probably shouldn't be allowed to do that. But anyways, Manadog is scouting in the wrong direction, so we definitely have a very, very big advantage here. And scouting first is such a core important piece of a ZVZ because you can really see kind of a lot of like the ling count that's going on, and seeing, oh, my opponent's making a lot of lings, I need to make a lot of lings to respond. Or if they're droning up, maybe I want to make lings and try to counterattack and punish their droning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that much about PVZ. Sorry, ZVZ. I'm in a certain mindset right now. And that's really all I gotta say about that. I really cannot add anything here. We do see a macro hatch going down pretty early from Mr. Dim.
Yep, going for a 9 hatch, in-base 9 hatch, which is gonna give him a lot of larva. So I don't know that much about ZVZ either, but from what I do understand, obviously it's about larva count, gas count, very small advantages. It is the fastest matchup in the game. It is the most rock paper scissors matchup. So there are very very small increments of everything that you do that matters so much in this matchup. So it is interesting here. We do see that it's going to be a 9-pull speed here from Manadog, but he canceled like a larva or something. So instead of making 6 lings immediately when the Overlord pops, he's only got 4 lings. So this is actually really bad for his build order overall. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do see a 9 hatch, which I think should easily defend against a 9-pull speed, because he's going to have the additional extra larva that's coming out of that secondary hatchery. The spawning pool will pop right in time for the lings to come out and defend against this 9 pool. The Overlord sees the lings, so he knows this is a 9 pool. Everything's set up here for Mr. Dim to take advantage of this game. And actually, Manadog is not sending these lings out either. He's not being aggressive with them.
Yeah, and the other thing I do wonder is, does Mr. Dim's playstyle that we see in PvZ, does that prepare him better for ZVZ? Because he's definitely, not to use the C word here, but he is definitely one of the more cheesy players in PvZ, ZVP, so I gotta wonder if he's just more comfortable with Ling Micro, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it could be. And we got Mr. Dim here with the lings. He's going to build that wall at the top of his ramp, and he's definitely got quite a bit of. He's got the 100 gas, so I'm not sure what he's going to put that into. Maybe it's going to be ling speed, and he's just going to flood out with mass ling here off of this 2 hatchery production. We do see a lot of lings here from Manadog running across the map. They will snipe off 2 of the lings here. Looks like Mr. Dim's trying to come out here, but I think he's just going to hold the ramp and build his ling count right now. A lot of free lings that are being taken here from Manadog. Really good job here, and he's going to sneak around and get us around.
Yeah, this is Manadog
4 lings
takes that fight.
Yeah, he does have the advantage in production, but he is behind on tech. We do see the layer is already finished here for Manadog. He needs to drop a Spire as soon as possible. On the other side of the map, we don't see any gas being built. It's just mass ling here. So once Mr. Dim can finally get a ling advantage here, he's going to run across the map and try to put a lot of pressure here onto Manadog before the mutas come out. And this is basically a race against time right now for Manadog. Can he survive long enough against these Zerglings to be able to get mutas out? And for Mr. Dim, it's all about, can he kill Zerg before the mutas get out? It's just a race against time.
Yeah, so you see here, actually, Manadog just reverse walling the ramp. Here.
Yeah, this is really smart here. He has the ling disadvantage, but trying to push down onto this ramp here is so difficult, so inefficient for your own Zerglings. Now, even with the ling disadvantage right now, Manadog is holding the bottom of this ramp so well. Oh man, just so efficient here with this wall at the bottom. This should, if you're Mr. Dim looking back on this game, you can't let this happen to you. You need to be able to break out of your own base, kill all these lings out, because the Spire is almost done. We do have a creep colony as well going up for Manadog to make sure he has a sun colony to defend against these lings. But oh man, 2 lings are denying this counterattack right now for Mr. Dim. He's got to go across the map right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a nail biter, right? You're going to, I mean, these mutas are basically going to pop as very close to when the well, actually not even very close. I'm just kind of going off on nothing.
Yeah,
here.
lings are going to get in here before the mutas are popping. There is a sunken in a really good spot here, but can Mr. Dim get out here? Drone drills protecting the sunken colony. Can he pick off maybe a lot of drones here? He's got to throw down an Evo chamber. He's trying to take his 3rd hatch at the natural in the meantime. He does manage to pick off a couple of drones, but mutas are going to come out. Only 1 muta though. There's not that many minerals here for Manadog, so maybe there's enough time here for Evo chamber and spores to get up in time. What a crazy ZVZ. Here come the lings again, trying to kill the sunken colony off. Will the drone drill be good enough? The sunken's going down, half HP. He's got a 2nd sunken right below. Looks like he's trying to kill the drones now or something. Does manage to get 1 drone. Oh, that sunken colony with 37 HP left.
That might be be all you need here. I mean, on the other side of the map, we see still on hashtag a spore colony starting, but
There's just not enough minerals for Manadog here to make mutas. I mean, his second muta is finally coming out right now. His first muta is trying desperately to hold. I mean, you know, it's too late now. The spore colony is done here at the main base. I mean, I think that Mr. Dim has got this game on lock. More Lynx trying to come in here, snipe that top sun colony. There it goes. And I mean, he doesn't even need to. He doesn't even need mine gas, just make a ton of lings. And with the fact that he's only got 4 drones mining here for Manadog, I mean, it's impossible for him to continue to make enough mutas to put pressure on Dim.
yeah, really exciting ZVZ we got here. I'm in the wrong mode right now. But I mean, with Mr. Dim getting his natural up, I don't see a really good way for Manadog to come back into this game. Maybe these mutas can work some magic, but it's a dubious position at best.
Yeah, very difficult. I mean, even a second spore colony going down here at the very bottom of the base here for Mr. Dim, and the spore colony is doing a great job of protecting each other, so that second spore will get up. He's got another spore now at the natural base, so both of his bases are really, really well protected, I think. Again, doesn't even need to mine gas, just makes drones and zerglings here, and he can probably just slowly start mining gas from 2 base. And he's got 3 hatchery versus the 1 here from Manadog, who's even rebuilding a second sunken colony again to defend against these zerglings. It's just, I mean, you know, the game definitely could go for a long time after this now, because it is kind of a difficult position as both Zergs to try to kill off the other one. But overall, eventually, I think that Dim will take the win here. He is starting to mine gas again, gonna get that layer, gonna get that spire, and with such a big economic advantage, I mean, it's only a matter of time before he can overrun Manadog.
Yeah, in DBZ, it's so crazy to me that every drone matters so much. You know, in every year of the match, after you lose a single worker, it's like, okay, that's not good, but it's not the end of the world. But in ZVZ, if you lose 1 drone, I mean, you can be behind for the rest of the game. And never mind, you know, that 10 worker disadvantage we see for Manadog here.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to desperately rebuild his drone count right now. He's back at the 10 drones at this point. He is going to manage to take out this evolution chamber. It is not being protected enough by the spore colony, so this will be a good little thing to snipe here. Mr. Dim trying desperately to build a spore colony to defend it, but at this point, honestly, I would just rebuild the evolution chamber. The spore colony is more minerals and an extra drone there to remake, but it looks like he is going to manage to get it up in time, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what good the denying the Evo does for you. And yeah, I mean, he loses 2 mutas there. And he already owned, you know, I mean.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
it looks like Rome is gonna die with a whimper and not a bang here. Unfortunately for Manadog.
Yeah, second gas is even done now here at the natural expansion for Dim. So he's going to be doubling the gas, has triple the larva count. I mean, like I said before, Spire's coming up. It's only a matter of time before Manadog gets overrun. He's really trying desperately. I mean, maybe if his muta micro is incredible in muta battles, like he can maybe do something here. But Mr. Dim has just got so many drones. He's got such a really, really well-equipped defense here to stop Manadog from doing anything. He just needs to slowly bank up his mutas and then just overrun him. We see Manadog is trying to get a natural, though, for himself to try to fight back here on the economic battle.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, this game has been a pleasure, right? 10-minute plus PvZ is definitely a fun time. And, I mean, I would say that Manadog does have chances here, but it's tough to see him winning from this position. He's really going to have to outplay Mr. Dim in just pure engagements. I mean, there's kind of no other way to do it just with this kind of economic disadvantage.
Yeah, down 9 drones. He will have, I will say, he will have carapace upgrade done in probably about, you know, another minute or so. It is such a long upgrade. Air upgrades are just take so long for Zerg. But he will have carapace upgrade, which is such a big upgrade advantage to have. And, you know, in ZVZ, +1 attack. I think Carapace is a little better, but I think either or +1 attack or Carapace, just an incredible upgrade to have in the air battle. So we do see Midas now on the way here for Mr. Dim. He's got a full 6 with a lot of Scourge actually, so he's going kind of half and half on Midas and Scourge. But once he's able to build up that Meta count, I mean, it's gonna be lights out here for Mr. Dim, or for Manadog.
Yeah, I mean the +1 flyer carapace is definitely just better, just because of the way that glaives kind of bounce. But you know, we shall see. I mean, he very well may, I don't know, snipe the Scourge and then. Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me to see a world where Manadog wins, but I'm here for it if it happens.
Yeah, we'll see. It's David versus Goliath right now with Mr. Dim and his huge economy being the Goliath, and you know, Manadog again. We'll see. He does have a few more metas right now, I think, but it is very quickly catching up in the meta count. And I mean, I think even +1 attack upgrade now coming out here for Mr. Dim. He's got so many metas. He's got 2 metas here at the main base that he hasn't moved yet with his main army. But here we go. Manadog gonna try to come in here with these 8 metas.
And snipes a couple lings, takes damage from the spore. I don't think that's worth it. Obviously, it's an air battle at this point. So taking any damage on your mutas is just kind of devastating, really.
And the thing here is, I think the one key thing here is for Mr. Dim is that he's the one who could go on a counterattack here. Oh, here comes the Scourge. Here comes the big meta battle. Oh, he stopped the mutas there for a second. Oh, man, lost so many there to Scourge. And he's trying desperately to get his meta micro in, but the Scourge all connect.
Yeah,
Last meta goes down. There's the GG.
Yeah, so really kind of an exciting PvZ. ZVZ. Oh my god. Dude, I'm in a mode. I told you.
Hey, listen, we have 4 ZVPs here, so you know, calling every matchup a ZVP is totally fine.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I don't have anything to say about that, just because I think everything. I'm gonna be making things up at this point. I do not understand that matchup. I see mutas, I see lings, and I hold my breath.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think after the initial build order, and you know, he had, I think Manadog had opportunities there in terms of maybe not losing that many drones, and maybe having gone to Spire up a little bit earlier to get mutas to deny the Zergling counterattack. I think he had opportunities there, but overall, it is a pure build order loss there for him. I mean, 9 pool speed versus a 9 in base 9 hash is just, you're never going to win in that position. Just the larva and the economic advantage that you're going to have playing the 9 hatch build there that Mr. Dim did, it's just so difficult for the 9 pooling Zerg to win in that position. It's a perfect counter. I don't think there's a better counter than 9 hatch versus 9 pool.
Yeah, and really to Manadog's credit, he did play that very well. Blocking the ramp with his own lings, and he really almost did hold out until he got those first couple of mutas up and was able to basically deflect anything that Mr. Dim was going to do.
Yeah, totally agree with that. All right, on to our 5th game here. Manadog is in his last game, 3 games in a row of Manadog. And Zumpy will be making his return as the Protoss.
Yeah. We'll go right into it. We shall see if we're going to get a repeat of the last PvZ we casted. A nice long macro game, or if we're going to get another Protoss kind
Early
of just
Protoss death. Yeah. Unfortunately, both players did play on a 1v1, so the shift tab will not work. So we got black versus gray on the minimap. Apologies for that. I think that we have said for casters for people to play in top versus bottom. Obviously, we will not see some GGs because of that, because people will forget that they need to put it on all chat instead of allied chat. That is the one problem of top versus bottom for those of you that don't know. But yeah, anyways, just a small thing, I guess, for our viewers who will be submitting replays for in the future.
Yeah, no, that's a very good public service announcement.
Yeah, here we go, Zumpy with the probe out here with the pylon. We'll see. He's gonna Looks like he's gonna keep it back. So it's probably gonna be a gateway first here, based upon just the probe staying here.
For sure. It did look like he was moving to the bottom left. So if he continues to do that, after his gateway gets dropped here in a second, we should see him scouting first, and we should also see Manadog scouting first. So, excuse me.
Yep, there you go. Gateway first, and the Overlord is going to be in the right direction. Unfortunately for Zumpy, is not scouting in the theoretical meta direction here, so he is going counterclockwise. Meanwhile, we do have an overpull here from Manadog.
Yep. And kind of things developing the same way we've seen every other PvZ develop tonight. We have this.
Yeah, I will say it is very interesting to see kind of I'm not sure what tier these players are. It might be tier 1 or tier 2 players, but it's very interesting to see that at this level of play, everyone is still going for this gateway first. I think that personally for me, I always recommend towards the lower levels that I would go for a lot more forge fast expands, and that's kind of what I do. I love forge fast expand. I think it's a very, very good, strong, solid, safe opener. And it kind of really blocks a lot of this kind of early link pressure that a lot of pro wrestlers have to deal with when they do go for a gateway first build. So it is kind of interesting. I mean, it has a higher ceiling of potential for sure to go gateway first.
Yeah, and kind of interesting to see here that while even before Zumpy scouted it, he knew that Manadog was in the close position because based on the Overlord timing, and he does drop that Forge before the Nexus. Probably a bit of a mistake. I mean, you delay your Nexus so much, but
Yeah, and he's not even building a cannon right now. So that force was just 150 minerals, kind of went down the drain there not down the drain, but definitely not being utilized in the most efficient manner. Normally, definitely want to get that Nexus up first. And again, we've seen this in pretty much every game so far, where the Pearls will go gateway first, but then not really do anything with that initial zealot. I think obviously you want to do damage with these zealots, and being maybe a little bit scared of pushing out with that first zealot is something that you're a little bit worried about. But I do think that as a Pro player, if you're going to go gateway first, you have to get at least some kind of pressure with that first zealot. Maybe not the second or third, but for sure the first.
yeah, I mean, otherwise we kind of see the consequences here. That third hatchery is pretty quick from Manadog.
Yeah, it looks like no
And
gas again, so I think it's going to be another 4 hatch before gas. And yeah, here we go. Drone here at the natural, making that fourth hatchery there.
yeah. So I mean, I do get it. I mean, I am definitely a tier 2, maybe tier 3 Protoss player, and I go gateway first just because it's more fun, to be honest.
It definitely is more fun. Sitting in your base behind a forge of cannons is as a guy who does. I'm trying to learn gate first right now, and kind of trying to go like more like 50-50 between the two, so I can maybe throw off my opponent if they ever try to, watch my replays and scout me out. But I 100% agree with you. It is way more fun to try to be aggressive, just like he's doing right here, where Zumpy is pushing out here with these zealots. He's not grouping them up, kind of splitting them up a little bit, which, I guess trying to maybe push away these Zerglings here is nice with these other two zealots, but let's see how much damage you can get here.
Yeah, so I mean, we have 2 zealots going up into the third right now. He could kind of lodge them behind the natural or sit on the ramp. He's not doing that right now.
That is a great point. I mean, if you were to move these 2 zealots that he's got here at the third base right now onto the ramp, oh man, he had an opportunity there to maybe block and then wait for his other 2 zealots to kind of group up with him. But I think he did this in the other game, or was that maybe avanhokie, where he kind of tucked these zealots back here behind the mineral line and just kind of sat there. There is a creep colony coming up, so he just has to wait, and then the zealots will end up going down to a second colony, and these zealots are getting surrounded here on the ramp as well.
I mean, definitely a missed opportunity here from Zumpy here, where you could have definitely had those first 2 zealots sit on the ramp and made the Zerg trade very inefficiently. And it does get 2 drones for his trouble.
Yeah, 2 drones, honestly, for 4 zealots. I mean, it's not the best trade in the world, but it's not a bad trade by any means. You know, he stopped mining here at this third base, forced an early sunken colony out. There's a lot of lings that were made. Obviously, it's fine to make these lings in order to stop this initial 4 zealot pressure here from Protoss. And again, you know, a nice solid wall with 1 cannon behind is going to stop an infinite amount of lings, basically. I guess unless they get speed and really, really, you know, go all in and commit. We do see the first Corsair coming out, and it looks like it's going to be maybe a 4-gate Zealot speed timing. He's already got the +1 upgrade spinning. Probably, it could be a pressure build here from Zumpy.
Yeah, I mean, that... I saw those 4 gates, I kind of furrowed my brow a little bit. We're going to see what he does with this. But there's definitely going to be a lot of Zealots out on the map. And, we'll see where he goes from here. Obviously, no second gas as of yet, so...
Yeah, and this is classic Protoss here, not getting that second gas. And I think usually the Overlord did see these 4 gateways, so he does know something is coming up. He's immediately getting Lurker aspect here, actually. He's going to try to go for fast Lurkers. This will totally shut down these Zealots if he can get it out in time before the +1 and the legs finish. And actually, legs have not even started yet here for Zumpy, so this is definitely a mistake here in terms of his build order, making more Corsairs instead. Finally, legs starts, second gas is going down. But I think there's enough time here for these Lurkers to get up before legs can finish and for Protoss to hit their timing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only hope for him really is that he gets those Zealots into a position where the Lurkers can't really comfortably counter him. Even though he's going for that kind of early Lurker aspect, and he is killing a few Overlords here right now, which is nice.
Yeah, 1 Corsair very badly damaged. But yeah, there definitely still is a timing here for him if he can get around the Lurkers and maybe snipe a hatchery or something like that. But he is definitely racing against the time. Lurker aspect is about to finish, and legs are only halfway done right now. So he needs to be pumping out these Zealots and trying to maybe sneak by the Lurkers or do something to be able to get some damage done. Otherwise, he is going to fall behind. Lurkers can maybe get like a soft Lurker contain out at the front of the Protoss base, and Zerg can expand behind that.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't even see a Robo going down yet, so things are getting a little dire, although Zumpy doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know if Lurkers are coming out, because they usually don't come out this early in the game here. Unless this is, kind of standard for 4 hash before gas. I don't know, because I don't actually know this build order that well. But he's got a lot of Zealots, and we'll see. Lurkers are on the way. There's none at the third base, so...
Yeah, I mean, basically, I kind of feel like if he doesn't bum rush the third base right now, this is a build order loss. I mean, you've already got 4 Lurkers out here outside the natural for Zerg.
Yeah, gotta be very scary here once he sees those first initial Lurker spines. He's gotta back up immediately with these Zealots. Does pick up a couple of Zerglings, but does manage to lose 2 Zealots in exchange. And he's gotta reposition, maybe go up here to this third base, which it looks like he's trying to wrap around to right now.
Yeah, and you see immediately the Robo go down because he's like, oh wow, there's Lurkers on the map at this point? That's, pretty unexpected.
Yeah, very early Lurkers. I will say, though, that he is now transitioning into that 8-gate all-in style, where he's got 8 gates now. He's got +2 weapon spinning. He's getting robotics facility and everything. So we're going to see, hopefully, maybe, he hits that huge +2 timing and just runs over Zerg that we know that Protoss can do in that mid-game.
Yeah. He does hit a pretty nasty supply block here, though.
Yeah, this is a classic Protoss here. Once you get the mid-game, it's like, where do I build my pylons? Do I just make like a block of pylons like Terran does with their supply depots? And the answer usually is just yes. You just have to do it at some point, even though it looks ugly.
He's trying to get this third base up here. I kind of like this position. Just taking it as far away as you possibly can, knowing that you do have like kind of that tech disadvantage. Due to the Lurkers coming out so early?
Yeah, I do like it a lot, actually. As usual, you want to expand away from the side that's probably going to be pushing you. And if you're the pusher, it's fine to expand towards. So generally speaking, for Terrans, you'll see a lot in TVP, Terran versus Protoss. The Terrans will expand towards Protoss sometimes, whereas Protoss usually is the one always expanding away from the enemy, away from Zerg, away from Terran.
Definitely. Corsair's going in, getting a little bit of scouting information. He does see the hive evolving, which is nice to know that you're eventually going to be dealing with Lurker Zergling.
Yeah, absolutely. These 8 gates are a little quiet right now. He is banking up a lot of minerals, so he's got a. I'm not even sure if Dragoon range is finished. He doesn't even have any Dragoons out yet, so it's kind of weird. He went for this 8 gate, built all these gateways, and then isn't really producing out of them. He's more focused on getting his 3rd base, which is fine. Maybe he just wants the gateways there just in case he needs to build a lot of units, which I think he could. He could make a wave of zealots right here. But no goon range. Finally, just started now, so I think now is the time where he'll start building dragoons. Which, yep, right as I say that, he's started 4 dragoons and looks like 4 zealots as well.
Yeah, I mean, your saving grace here is that you do have Storm, and you are getting into that Storm Zealot Dragoon comp that is so efficient, and you're not down a base right now. As he's transferring over a couple probes to the 3rd base.
Yeah. Zerg, I will say, is droned up insane right here. 50 drones already on 3 bases. His natural is a little bit oversaturated, so I expect him to be thinking about taking a 4th base here with how many drones he's made. He's made so many drones here at the natural as well. I think he's got like 14 or 15 drones over there. So a little bit over droned, I would say. I think usually it's just kind of like, main natural is kind of like 10, 11 drones each maybe, and then 3rd base maybe like 9 drones or something. A Zerg player in the chat can maybe correct me on that, but I think that's usually the standard.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Manadog sends up a Hydra here to just check this position. Does see the 6 cannons and the Nexus, so is going to know that he's on 3 bases versus 3 bases. We'll see how that affects his decision making here. Does have a lot of lurkers right now.
Yeah, considering that he does have Hive Tech already and is already getting Consume upgrade, he is definitely should be thinking about grabbing a 4th base. And I mean, he's got, again, just kind of like last game in the last EVP that we casted, taking that 4th base and 5th base there, the top left-hand position there at the natural main is going to be likely his target here. He just needs to turtle up here. He needs to know that as a Zerg player here in the mid game, that Protoss is extremely, extremely powerful with the Storms and the upgrades here. +2's done for Protoss. So, just got to play safe, got to play defensively, grab his 4th and 5th base, and then from there, once Hive Tech finishes, he can be the one that dictates control of the map.
Yeah, I do love this move by Zumpy, sending up the Zealot onto the ramp of the top left main. Just kind of keeping tabs on that. As long as Zerg doesn't take that, you know that you're pretty good. To just stay on your 3 bases. If he does start taking that, then you kind of got to think about a game plan, whether you're going to get a tech advantage or you're going to start taking extra bases and kind of go into like a more mass gateway style.
Yeah, and I think that, he is going into that heavy, big expansion style here for Protoss because he knows that Zerg right now is just sitting back, kind of patiently waiting. He's taking that 4th base there at the top right. But Zerg is starting to hit that kind of part of the game where once they break out and if Protoss doesn't do enough damage to them, realistically, if you look at Zerg, they haven't taken much damage so far. He's already at 150 supply here at 14.5 minutes. Hive's finished. The Consume upgrade's done. Plague's on the way. So Zerg gets really scary here. I always make a joke where it's like once Zerg hits 150 supply in this matchup, I mean they're just flooding units off of Hive Tech, and it's so hard as a Protoss player to defend against that unless you've got like mass Archon Reaver Storm.
Yeah. Actually, one move I think could be interesting here, and I don't necessarily know that it's good, is even if you don't put a base down here at the 6 o'clock position, putting a robo down here with just Reavers, I mean, that's such a powerful position to control because you can always gain control of your natural from there and just kind of keep Zerg off of a very clean and easy 4th base.
Yeah, Zerg is banking up quite a few minerals right now. He's got up to 2,600, so might want to think about setting down another macro hatch or two, making just all these Zerglings here. He does have Crack. I think Crack finished, so he is in a position, I think, where he can start really moving across the map. Good storms there from Zumpy. Did manage to pick off quite a few Hydras, but the Templar does go down.
Yeah, and then he moves down with this army from the 6 o'clock base, and I don't know, I feel like you relinquished too much map control here by doing that. It was a good trade to begin with, but now I don't know that you have the map control you really need to keep the Zerg in check here.
Yeah, I am not so sure about that anymore for Protoss. You know, again, like we said before, this is the part of the game where Zerg is the one that kind of dictates the pace of the game, and he's the one who's going to be getting a lot of control here. His upgrades are really, really good right now. +2 carapace, +1 melee, and +2 attack. I mean, he is in full upgrade Zerg mode right now. But again, he does need to start thinking about taking a 4th base here. Maybe we'll take it at the 6 o'clock position once he establishes a little bit more forward control here. He's kind of just been slowly eking out of his base. Oh, interesting.
Reaver drop in the main.
Oh, I totally even missed that. Wow, big damage there. Kills off all of the drones. Huge damage. Might even be able to take out the spawning pool.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that towards the end of it, and I just saw a bunch of pools of blood, and that I assume were drones, and now the spawning pool is gone. He's definitely got to remake that.
Yeah, luckily he's got a lot of minerals to do that, but got to re-drone as well to resaturate.
I mean, this lurker count is just insane if you look in the middle of the map.
Yeah, Jesus, that is a whole control group of lurkers there. That's a lot of gas. So he's got to be very careful not to just like let them all die to Robo, to Reaver, and Storms there. But you know, if he can get them in a good position with some swarms, I mean, this army right here, these lurkers could potentially end the game if he's really, really smart about how he utilizes them.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of moving into the map here.
Look at these really storms, man.
Wow.
Oh, snipes one of the 5s with the Reaver. Very nice.
Does clean up that army in the middle of the map, gets a little bit more map control. Can definitely start launching attacks at the 3rd and the natural from there, but you gotta wonder if it was worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just not macroing behind this right now. I mean, he's got so many minerals and gas right now. He's just not using them, and his army is not really being supported by anything. No swarms here, no plague, no nothing. So, like I said, when Protoss is in the mid game and there's no hive tech, I mean, they're the ones who dictate control, but he kind of went into his attack with hive tech and didn't really use the hive tech, so that was a little bit confusing there. Does manage to snipe off one of the Reavers there, and will try to snipe the second one, but Shuttle, good pickup there to save it.
Yeah, no, actually, amazing pickup. I mean, you need that Reaver to hold off the Dark Swarm. Even though you're up almost 100 supply at this point, Dark Swarm is just such a good spell.
Yeah, super good, especially when, I mean, Protoss here, I like I said, again, I think avanhokie did the same thing where he started transitioning into that Reaver tech. He's got double Robo here in the main. Didn't realize my poop died. LOL. Yep. There's a reason why your Z key wasn't working. It was probably, you know, I wonder if he was trying to spam the Z key on all of his hatcheries, and that's why he didn't make anything there for like the past 2 minutes, because he was trying to make Zerglings and couldn't make them.
Yeah, definitely possible. No GG yet. Looks like Manadog wants to play this out. Obviously, now we understand that his pool is dead, so he's remaking it somewhere in his natural right now.
Yep, it's natural.
And to be fair, when he gets it up, he has 6,000 minerals to spend on Kraken, so...
Yeah. Instead, he has gone with just Mass Hydra here, which, you know, I think at this stage of the game, just go pure Lurker Ling with Defilers is fine. He is starting to take back a little bit of control here with these Hydras in the middle of the map. But the problem for him is Protoss is on 5 base, really strong economy, 66 probes. He can definitely transfer a lot here from Natural. He's find out there and move them up to that 5th base. But, I mean, Protoss is definitely a very, very good position. I I think you kind of just slowly chip through Zerg and then manage to kill one of his bases here. He doesn't have that much defense here at the third base, so that's a very prime target.
Yeah, the third base actually for Zerg has been naked for quite a while. I saw it earlier, and I guess there was just no probing attack to figure that out. But there have not been there hasn't been a lurker up there for quite some time. Actually, we see like one down here now, but.
Yep, Reaver in the middle map. Good pickup again here by Zumpy. Really good Reaver control. I'm actually very curious to see how he plays in that PvP that we're about to see in the next game, because his Reaver control has been very, very good so far. It's funny, I will mention right now, but in the lull of the action, there is a Reaver there at the 6 o'clock position. So remember you talking about the Robo just getting that 6 o'clock kind of set up there. He's got one lone Reaver up there, so he's kind of doing what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, a Reaver holding that ramp is so powerful right now, just because of, obviously it denies the Zerg a fourth base, and, I think eventually if the game goes that long, which it doesn't look like it's going to, I think the supply differential is just too big for Zerg to overcome, although, as we see in the middle of the map, they do have a good setup.
Yeah, Zerg is doing a really good job here of kind of containing Protoss. I think Protost's macro is slipping just as much as Zerg's is right now, because as you can see, I mean, he's banked up 4,000, 3,000 minerals and gas, and he's not really been macroing out of these gateways. They've been very quiet. He's got to start making a lot of, just spam Templar out of these gateways, make a bunch of Archons, continue to macro the Reavers like he's been doing, and then he's got to push out at some point. I don't think there's that many units out here for Zerg. Just running through with enough Zealots, Reavers, and Storm is going to be good enough for him. But he's trying to look over here with this shuttle with two Reavers in it over towards the top left right now. Might try to drop the third base.
Yeah, the other thing that does scare me is there's no Robo at the top right for Protoss right now. So there's going to be no Reavers to defend there. If there's a Dark Storm push up there, he could very easily lose that.
Yeah, manages to force a cancel there on that fourth base for Zerg at the top left natural, and now the shuttle's going to be making its way down maybe to the third base here. A really good, use of these Reavers here from Zumpy. I just hope that he's not... Okay, he is macroing back at home, so he's doing a good job of kind of doing both of harass and macroing at the same time. Hopefully able to spend the rest of his money here as the game ends. Shuttles is still over there on the left-hand side while the big Zergling attack comes in here. Nice storms, really good stuff here from Zumpy to clear out all of these Zerglings and the Defiler as well. Reaver's doing a good job as well. And there's the GG well played from Manadog, just not able to get up a fourth base there, and again, the macro is just slipping a little too hard, I think, for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he did have 5,000 minerals banked up, but I think that just the demoralizing thing is you can't get up your fourth base. You know that you can make one more army maybe and try again, but I mean, against a Reaver, Storm, Dragoon, Zealot, what chance do you really have there?
Yeah. People are asking in the chat if replay is broken. I don't think so. I think that he just slipped up on his macro a little bit there. Maybe it was. Maybe he'll kind of come back and say, "Oh, like I spent all my minerals and blah blah blah." But and you never know. I wouldn't say that it looked like it was broken. Like again, he maybe was trying to make Zerglings and he just couldn't because he didn't have a pool up. Maybe it was just focused on other stuff and he just couldn't keep up with the macro. Who knows?
Yeah. I will say I really have to use the bathroom right now, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right. Sounds good. I'll entertain the stream while he's gone. Hope everyone's having a great day today, wherever you are, if you're European time zone, USA time zone. I will say, man, it's great to see that we've got two kind of areas in the world that's still going strong on Brood War. I know that I came back after like a 3-year hiatus or something, and the fact that the scene's still going this strong is incredible to me. So y'all have done an excellent job of keeping the legacy that is Brood War alive.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
So for our last game, Zumpy versus avanhokie, our only PvP of the night, and I'm good to get into it if you are.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right.
Last game of the night.
I have personally been having such a good time learning about observing and casting. Kind of my first time doing this in Brood War, so you know, maybe a little bit rocky. Left a few awkward silences in there, but
Oh, have you? Did you used to cast maybe like Starcraft 2 or something?
I used to cast Starcraft 2. I used to cast Melee. I did a little bit of Counter-Strike when I was in college for my for the Rutgers team, collegiate team.
Oh, you're from Rutgers.
Yep.
Cool. I went to high school in New Jersey. So.
Oh yeah. Same. Exit 135.
I have no clue about any of that. I honestly, I was pretty much a shut-in when I was in New Jersey, so I didn't know too much about it. But I was in a kind of like north central-ish area, like Princeton area.
Oh, that's not north though.
Is Princeton not north? I don't know. But everyone says like north and south, and they all get an argument. I was like, I look on a map, and it looks like it's central-ish Jersey. So
nah,
who knows,
they called it pork roll down there. They're not North Jersey.
Ah, okay. Oh man. Anyways, getting to a PvP here. White Paras is avanhokie at the bottom left. The red Paras is zumpy here at the bottom right. It is interesting to see, will they go for the 2-gate or the 1-gate tech? I have been trying out 2-gate in my PvPs, and I can tell you it is an awesome build order. I love it.
I've been trying out 2-gate tech, and it makes me want to scream. But maybe that's just the difference between you and me. I always feel like I have so much trouble breaking. Well, I mean, first of all, the 5 Zealot expand is so hard to deal with sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that doesn't look like it's happening now with both of our players taking in gas so early. And then it just, I don't know, it feels so hard to break anything, and then you just get so far behind taking your natural later. But either way, pretty much symmetric builds at this point.
Yeah, looks like both players went for core before Zealot. We'll see if Zumpy even makes a Zealot here. Looks like he's not. He's gonna go pretty. I wouldn't call it greedy. I guess it's because he's already gotten the scouting information he needs to on avanhokie, that he knows it's a 1-gate tech build, so he doesn't need to get that Zealot necessarily. Saving that money for maybe like an earlier expansion or maybe an earlier box facility. Who knows? He is getting that second gateway now. And Dragoon started as well for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it honestly at this level and the level that I play at, I'd rather send that Zealot across from avanhokie, just because you make them deal with so much. I mean, dealing with an early Zealot is actually much harder than just sending that Zealot out at this point. And you can actually kind of knock someone off their build pretty well, even if they already have the Dragoon up at that point. I think it's a little bit gimmicky and playing off the fact that, you know, we're not S-rank Protosses, but it can be kind of strong in my opinion.
Hey man, whatever level you're at, I think it's a perfectly acceptable thing to do until you get up to a level where people can actually respond to it in time. So looks like we do have just a standard 2-gate here from Zumpy with just Master Goon. We have a 2-gate here from avanhokie with a robotics facility. Has skipped Goon range actually. He hasn't even gotten that yet. So kind of interesting to see this the build divergence here from avanhokie. He is massing up quite a few minerals though, so I'm wondering if he's gonna expand. He has a probe here at the natural now, so
yeah. If he expands here, then I don't know a whole lot about this, and it looks like he's going, or he sends the probe back. But robotics before range has been something that I've been playing around with recently, and it is really nice to get that robotics up. Just that couple seconds earlier, you know, I mean, everything just in PvP is just so so based on the robotics timing. So having that shuttle out sooner, that observer, that reaver out a little bit quicker, your build just feels so much faster as long as you can defend without range for that little while.
Yeah, I mean, he is holding the top of the ramp, so he doesn't really need to get that range necessarily. But he hasn't really been making that many units out of these gateways. Honestly, his gas count has been kind of low. I think he was only had 2 guys on gas or something, or maybe his gas guys were just not mining very efficiently because he's definitely. I mean, he definitely should have a support bay going now, which he finally just started now. Should have been gone down a long time ago, and it just felt like something went wrong here for avanhokie, and he's sort of a little bit kind of flustered with how his build's gone. There's 4 goons out here. He's poking out a little bit, but yeah, you need to get back up that ramp.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 zealots do complicate things a lot for Zumpy. Obviously, the shield battery, and he, despite having a drone probe down to his natural, Zumpy hasn't taken his natural yet. So perhaps the quicker tech from avanhokie can work out in his favor. Maybe something like a quick reaver drop or just a very early kind of head-on push.
Yeah, I would say definitely a fast reaver drop here would be really, really good here from avanhokie. He is kind of being really pressured here by these Dragoons at the front, but now he has a Dragoon advantage here at the front. It looks like Zumpy is actually worried about that fast shuttle reaver drop here in the main. He's got quite a few goons kind of chilling back here at the natural. Meanwhile, at the front there, it is going to be these goons going down here for Zumpy. So avanhokie doing a really good job here pushing back out. Nicely done.
Yeah, snipes 3 goons, only loses 1. Kind of equalizes that goon count. You can see at the natural that Zumpy has 5 more waiting.
Yeah, quite good goon micro here from avanhokie, but here come the extra reinforcement goons here. We'll see how good the micro is on both sides right now.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 zealots actually...
Yeah, they're gonna help out so much. Oh man, really, really good micro here from avanhokie, taking a really, really good fight here with his Dragoons.
And then again, yeah, now he has that earlier reaver out. He can get that across in his shuttle.
Yeah, now it's actually even harder here for Zumpy to defend against that reaver drop because he had to bring those goons back from his natural to the front. So now he doesn't really have these goons in a position to defend against the reaver drop if we see it. We do have a reaver out. Shuttle is out now as well. So we're going to see what avanhokie decides to do. Is he going to push out maybe from the 6 o'clock position and do kind of just a frontal attack? Or is he going to try to do a sneaky drop and kill the economy of Zumpy?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, if I were avanhokie, I would just move my goons at the front of the natural and micro the reaver drop in the main.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. The shuttle is moving. He's got Zealots pulled in here, almost looking like a Bulldog build or something like that in PvT. But here we go. The army's moving out. Looks like he's just going to go for a frontal attack here with the shuttle and the Reaver here. But the Goons are going to try to come in here and snipe the shuttle. Instead, they're going to go for the Reaver. The Reaver goes down.
Reaver goes down, but I mean...
Oh, the Goons! The Goons are stuck! Uh-oh!
That's
really unfortunate. Oh man, I thought he was gonna get out with those goons, but instead it looks like they got stuck or Zumpy did something. I'm guessing it was a goon. It was one of those goon moments where they just get stuck and you have to press stop or hold or something to get them to unfreeze. But man, that is so unfortunate for him. I think that might just be game.
Yeah. Dragoons are a cruel mistress. Yeah, and I think Zumpy's just gonna tap out here. I mean, I don't know what else he can do.
Yeah, Nexus is going to go down. He's stuck back in his base with no economy, lost a ton of probes. There's the GG from Zumpy. Oh man, I mean, I thought he played that so well. I mean, he sniped the shuttle or he sniped the Reaver. He was going to get out with like, maybe a slight goon disadvantage, but he had the defender's advantage with 4 gateways to reinforce, and just suddenly his goons just stopped moving. I mean, I feel so bad for him there.
Yeah, I mean, Dragoons are I made a comment one time saying that Dragoons are like kind of having your kid go to art school, where you wish that they had taken a better path in life, but you're happy seeing them do what they have to do, dancing in your probe line or just dancing around. But in all honesty, they're very cruel to a lot of
They are very
Protoss
cruel.
players.
once in a while, maybe you have a Picasso come out, like when Bisu did that insane micro. I don't know if people remember this, but I think it was in one of the early ASLs. I think he was playing against C or some other Terran where he just used 4 goons and just killed the Terran when he was trying to do like a vulture mine expand or something, and he he killed Terran with 4 goons. It was crazy. So sometimes you have a Picasso that comes out of art school, but unfortunately today these were not Picasso Dragoons here for Zumpy. They were very much the oh, my kid went to art school and doesn't really know what he's doing kind of deal.
Yeah. It's it's definitely rough. And obviously I'm a Protoss apologist, so yeah. Dragoons definitely have shaved a couple years off my life.
Yeah, I've
But
raged very hard for goons not doing what they're supposed to many a time. So
for sure. Anyway, thanks for coming on, man. Really
yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
You
We
help.
appreciate everyone watching the stream as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, yeah. Um, thanks everybody for bearing with me as I go through my first Brood War cast, and hopefully we'll see you next week. I'm gonna try to get in a cast a week and just hone my craft. Obviously, I hope everybody can tell from the beginning of the stream to the end that I was learning all the way. So obviously, this isn't a perfect product that I'm delivering, but working on it. Just like I'm working on my Brood War. So
Yeah, always good to see new casters, and we can only improve. I'm getting back into it too. I definitely am very, very rusty on the casting, but um, having casted a long time, it's great to be back, and it feels awesome to cast some games again. So I appreciate you hosting the stream. I appreciate you having me on. So we will we'll try to get you some top versus bottom replays next time. Yes, Tartman, we definitely need that, especially if people are gonna be like, we need the colors changed or something. It's like, well, that's on you guys. You guys gotta play top bottom.
yep. Definitely shout out to my colorblind homies. Sorry we
Oh, are you
couldn't do it for you.
colorblind?
No, I'm not. But
Oh, for the people who are though. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I think I'll just end it here, and yeah, thanks for coming on.
All right,
And
sounds good,
I
guys.
hope everybody has a good night. And that's about all I got to say. So, bye bye.